All right, we just got back from doing a little shopping there. Went up to Hardman's Hardware. I'll throw a little clip of being in there in the store here in a little bit for you. But end up grabbing some things we were needing. Grabbed some more chaps. We got some different ones. I really like the apron chaps better than the full wraparound ones. I imagine the others, they may offer a little more safety, but wow, they get hot in the summers, and I've really had good success out of these. Picked up a few more wedges because sometimes we're hard on them. Got a new bar dressing tool. That thing is super handy. It's I think there's a video on there using that little guy, the old one. This one, it was getting a little worn, so got us a new one of those. Of course, got us a whole big pile of the HP Ultra so we can keep these fellas running, and got us some winter bar and chain lube and some everyday stuff that handles the warmer temperatures better. All kinds of goodies there. Got some chain now. I know you are used to seeing me build 32-inch carbide chains, but got one here. It's a monster. Had to get this one because we couldn't sharpen it on our chain grinder. We've got the steel chain grinder in there, but it wouldn't fit in there, so I'm told. So I just went ahead and grabbed a few of them while I was at it. But that's for the GTA 26, the little hand pruner. You can tell that thing is just, it is neat as can be. But that little tool is super handy. I love it for little bitty jobs, especially around a sawmill. It is extremely handy for that. So grabbed a few of those. Next, we've got a handful of chain here. And it is a, that last one is 28 drive length. That is crazy. Little bitty fella. But this one is a little bit bigger than that one. Still a, excuse me, a tiny 71 PM3 chain. But it has a, straighten that out. I always find it easier to lay it down on a flat surface to straighten them out when they get looped or goofed up. But this is for our MSA 200, the little electric, or battery chainsaw. And this thing has a very itty bitty chain on it. And this was the first battery chainsaw we ever bought. And it uses that chain, and fell in love with it again around the mill. So you didn't have to fire up a gas powered chainsaw inside. Of course, our mill, it's a LT50 Woodmiser and is electric. So that lets us run inside. We're working on getting us a wood splitter built out of powered by electricity as well. So that is a big deal. We don't have to open the doors, get choked out trying to cut something to trim it to fit through the mill and stuff. Fell in love with that guy. Now, the big thing it's handy for is pruning trees, because it doesn't have a ton of fiber pull like a bigger chain like the one I'm going to show you right now. Now, this one is goes on our 220. Again, a little bigger saw, much bigger chain, and the chain itself is much larger. We got a little to work on that, get that fed back through. There we go. The chain size is just, the links are there's just an absolute huge difference in the size of the links and cutters in that thing. You can kind of see the size difference there. It's insane. But this is super handy. The bigger one, for if you actually have to cut a chunk of wood off. Man, this thing will do the job. It's a little slow. It'll get the job done. And if you only had one little battery saw around the mill, around the farm, the house, whatever, that 200 with that small chain would probably be a better one-stop shop, because it does a really good job pruning trees, and it again doesn't tear them up bad. This one will tear them pretty bad, but wow, if you're trying to actually cut wood, and this is a yellow chain. Again, there's green, has some more safety things built in it. Yellow is a little more intense. So got a few of those too. So happy about that. And got us another gas can, because you can't have enough gas cans. And then on to the bigger exciting things. We got our MS661 sitting here, and it is a super exciting saw. I've had my eye on one for a long time, and very tickled to finally get to put one here in our hands and try it out. So it's set up with a 20-inch bar. Again, I've told you before, that's usually the way I just get them, because I use that 20-inch bar inside the shop all the time, and then it lets me spec the carbide chain and the 32-inch light bar for outfitting the saws. But we've got a 660 that was in a video that put up just a day or two ago, and it was racing against some of the other saws, and again, I was fairly surprised at the outcome on that. So thought, man, we really need to try that on a little more, I guess, latest greatest size of that saw. And of course, the other one I'm pretty sure that is a 92 cc, the 660. This is 91, just a tick smaller there in cc, but again, a little lower displacement, but I've again heard some really good things about them. So really excited to try that fella out, and that runs the same 8822 bar that we did in that competition video. So again, that'll be a good bar and chain for some more of that. And I'll try to get through that one day soon. Let you see how it cuts compared to the others. Now there's it was a pretty big day today, but there's 3 saws missing right here. There's a 500R missing that we couldn't get our hands on yet. So again, it's been, I guess, it's been on order. Well, we've had a 500R on order since this time last year, and Hardman's, again, they were good enough to when they got a regular 500 in to let me know, and we went ahead and took it in its place because we just didn't know when another was coming. But we still have that one on order, so it should be sitting there. And then a 362R, full wrap panel 362 saw, and it is, I'm pretty excited about it. Again, I've never laid hands on a wrapped 362 size saw, so I'm pretty excited about that. The other thing missing here is a 261. And it's set up with a 20-inch bar, 3/8 chain, and the right drive sprocket for that, because I like to keep as much chain in that as I can. And it's probably not the optimum chain for that size saw, but usually we're just using it for lemon or little itty bitty jobs, and that does great. So and just to be able to go grab a chain off the rack, and when we're grinding chain, it's all the same, is just super handy. Now the last one, number 5, we got it today. So it is a 201 TC. That is a top handle, and really just been interested in checking one of these out. I've got an old top handle saw. I think it's a Craftsman. Looks a whole lot like a Homelight, but I'm not sure if it is or close or whatever, but it just gives me that feel when I look at it. But it was my grandpa's saw, and it's a really old, you have to manually oil it, and really neat old saw. But I thought, maybe kind of cool, because I get a lot of folks, now to here, they're interested in climbing things, and I'm a kid that I'm not a big fan of up in the air, but I'm going to try to overcome some of that fear, and in the event of trying to help get that that desire for some others opened up for them, so they can try it out and see what that's all about. So been looking at trying to get into get some climbing gear gathered up, and some saws that will again kind of go for that. Now you probably know August Haneke. He's got a YouTube channel out in the West, and I was watching some of his stuff, and he recommended getting a very tight tip radius bar there. So ordered one of those. It'll be here soon. It's actually what STIHL calls a carving kit, and it has a really small diameter, and he talks about that in the video, being able to get between branches without nicking the one you want to keep, and get worked in to cut the one you don't want. So we've got that coming, and a chain to fit it, and I'm not sure if it takes a different drive sprocket or not, but it comes in a kit. So we'll get all that going there, and I'm excited to try this little fella out. I grew up with I think it was a 007 or 009, little bitty fella, and it was a really neat little saw that my dad can't remember what it is, a 7 or 9, but anyway, it's Dad, he used to build a lot of pole buildings around the farms and stuff with it, and he used it for cutting posts and notching them to put band boards and stuff in, and it was a neat little saw, and but anyway, like I say, just excited to try this fella out. Never have had one of these. 201s. Now I know the 200 is the highly sought after one, but of course they haven't made those for a while now. But anyway, they give it a try and see what it says. But anyway, just thought I'd let you see what we got here, and like I say, we'll try to get this going here and let you see a little speed on how this 661 stacks up against the 500, and see if it can do any better. Now, we have a 462 with a 20-inch bar. Here we have one with a 28-inch light. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah. All right, back to 462 with a 20, 462 20. And over here we have a 660 with wrap handle and 20-inch bar. Looks like got two of those and a 25 hiding over there. Yeah, and some really nice looking blowers. We got a 600 at the shop, and that thing is a really nice machine. To see, they have one here. Yeah, this one, an 800C with a pull. I think that's the coolest feature they've ever had on a blower. So you don't have to take the silly thing off to start it, because the first thing that happens when I get one started and put on is somebody wants to stop and talk, and you can't hear them over it, so you got to turn it off, then peel it all back off and start it again. So I really like it, and it just kind of redirects the rope right back to this housing. So really neat option right there. I like that. And then some of the smaller pieces there. Blowers up there, smaller ones. And then over here we have some of the hedge trimmers, different TS blades, or wheels rather, not blades, they're wheels. We got our wedges, some nice Peavies and Cantuck. Again, Peavy has a point. Cantuck has this flattened spot so it doesn't tear up your cant. Put a big divot in it, and this will help bite in the bark. That's the way I remember it. Peavy has a point, so there you go. But anyway, we've got a couple different service kits here, and all kinds of goodies. And then over here, trimmers along this wall. Different line there to run, and some of the pressure washers here. They make a really nice machine. Kohler engines, AR pumps on them. I've run AR pumps on John Deere ones for a long time, and they're a really good pump. Really good success out of them. Anyway, I thought you might want to check out a little bit of what's going on with that little fella, little 200. And then I've got a vac down here on the bottom, and all of the different mixes and oils. We run the HP. I like to do the 1 gallons. That way, you mix up a little bit at a time, and you don't have to worry about it going bad on you in the can if you don't revisit it right quick. But you can get them in the 2.5 gallon size as well as the 5 gallon size, and of course the different bar and chain lubes there. So anyway, there's a little bit of that stuff. And again, we're at Hardman's Hardware here in Summersville. Wonderful folks. Now over here we have the electric stuff, the battery rather, and really cool. Now these are ones that don't have batteries plugged into them, and when you slide on down here to the other end of the scale, these have the plug-in batteries, and they even have packs that you can wear, which are really cool. Now we have a 200 and a 220 saw there, and they Man, the chain on that 220 saw is awesome. You can see it is a really amazing chain. Now the 200, it's not quite as impressive as far as trying to cut wood, but for trimming like apple trees, that chain is amazing for that job because it doesn't have a lot of tear out when you fiber pull, I guess is the correct term for that. It doesn't pull a lot of the bark off the tree having that little tiny cut versus this great big one. So that cutter there. So anyway, again, everything has a purpose, and again, one of each. And we don't have a top handle electric saw or battery. I keep forgetting calling it electric, but anyway, that T version, it's a really neat unit, and I'll have a look into one of those maybe later on. But anyway, there's the 200 and the 220, and again, both really nice little machines. I've not run one of these little guys yet, the TS batteries. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong line right there. The TS 230. That's a neat little machine. Sometimes it'd be nice just to have a little saw that was quiet, and I could see that being pretty handy. But anyway, again, we're here at Hardman's in Summersville, West Virginia, and man, just great folks to work with. Yeah, this is a really cool store to check out. It's been here at their sign, 1907, up there on the wall, and they've got a little bit of everything. Really cool stuff in here. I like to come up here and just drool, so it's neat stuff to look at and check out. But anyway, we're going to pick up some saws today, and we'll check back in with you. Another thing I want to do is kind of talk just a little bit before I go about the different grades of saws. Right here we have you can kind of see this tag. A lot of people don't look at that tag real close when they're pricing saws. So here we have a 170. This is a very occasional use saw, and again, it's priced very competitively with stuff you get at a store that you get another homeowner grade saw like Lowe's or Home Depot or Tractor Supply, something like that. But these are just little fellas that, again, they have plastic housings and modular motors. The engine, you can see here on the bottom, the engine bolts into it right here, unlike a pro grade saw that it bolts down in the metal casting and housing. This is all plastic in here, and again, it's a good design for stuff that's occasionally used. But you'll notice here, unlike a pro grade saw, you flip this guy over, this is all metal in here. So all of this, the housing here, the engine bolts down into the top of it, and it's very easy to rebuild one of these. 4 bolts pulls the cylinder off the top, and then you change the piston and rod, or just piston, and then you're in good shape. Where these little guys, they're really tricky to get. Time-wise, is really not super cost-effective to rebuild one. So, but anyway, these are more of a frequent use saw. They again still not a pro grade thing. 291, they're a real common saw. 290s and 390s, and then of course the 291, 391. But let's look here. Here's a 64cc saw for $619. Now let's come down here and look at here's a 362 for 59cc, which is a little smaller displacement. 20-inch bar is $779. And you look at that and you think, man, that is a lot of difference in money for a smaller saw, but this one is made for, use every day. So anyway, you kind of see some of this comparison. Here's a 50cc and a 261 for $619, and here we have a 50cc and a 271, and it's only $419. So when you see, if you're just comparing bar length and cc, there's a $200 discrepancy right here. But you need to understand that what you're really looking at is a saw that made to be rebuilt and made to not so much. So anyway, just a little bit on the different grades there. Of course, the bigger saws, that's the only way you can get them is in the pro grade side. You can see here they're up here on the extensive use end of things, and very impressive units there. So here's a wrap handle, and there's a difference. There's a what was that? For money wise, there's $13.49 for a 20-inch bar wrap, and here is $12.99 for a 20-inch bar flush. And you can see how this is has the flush side, and this one has the wrap. Now with a 660, you still get a really aggressive bumper spike on a flush mount saw. This has a little bit of a cutout on it right here, but on the R version. But anyway, a little bit there for you to look at. All right, we're looking a little bit more here in Hardman's. We've got some really cool stoves. My buddy Carl here works here. He said, "Now you got to take a picture of my stoves." So I thought, you know what? That's what wood goes in. So here's a shot of some of their beautiful stoves, and there we have some of the different inserts. And I tell you, if you're ever in the Summerville area, you need to stop by here. They just got all kinds of super cool stuff. There's some more on the other row over there. Biomass stove, all kinds of neat stuff. Looky there. I think this right here, what is this guy? Yeah, pellet stove. Interesting outfit. But anyway, again, lots of cool stuff here to drool over.